I know everyone has had this thought before, and it breaks my heart to be almost the martyr, but it breaks my heart to have to be the one to finally lay this out on the line.
Smash.
And either agree, disagree, subscribe, unsubscribe, exist, unexist, but we have to do it. We're gonna do the tier list that is going to make the most people upset. We're gonna do which Pokemon I would absolutely chow down on if there was no food left. That's right, we are ranking the first generation Pokemon on which ones would be the most delicious. Let's get into it. Number 1 is Eat Daily. This is the cream of the crop. This is what would be in like the Poke McDonald's. This is like the steaks, the filet mignons. This is what just busts super hard. Number 2, pretty good, will do. Like the chicken breast of sorts. Like you'll eat it and it would sate you. And sometimes you'll actually crave it, but it won't be something that is as good as number 1. Number 3, this is more of a fitness thing. If you're trying to get healthy, if you want to eat it just to get the vitamins and the nutrients you need to have a better body, or you just know you got to do it to like lower your cholesterol or something, that's number 3. If it fits your macros, it's okay. Number 4, probably inedible. Let's be honest, some of these Pokemon, I can't imagine myself taking a bite out of some of these. I think I could eat most, but I can't imagine a very rare few I can't imagine putting in my mouth. And then finally, do not eat / moral dilemma. That is super, and I mean super reserved. All right, because I'm saying right now, Poke World, all the food disappears. You have to eat Pokemon. You have to. We're doing the first gen only. And we're not going to do any duplicates because this tier list had a bunch of duplicates. Like, look at this. We got Pikachu, and then we got Pikachu and Snapback 1 through 8. All right, we're not doing any duplicates. Now, let's get started on this bad boy. Bulbasaur, I can tell you right now that Bulbasaur would be a healthy option. It feels like Bulbasaur would be mainly lean meats, right? On top of that, he comes with a bit of salad, which is super helpful. It's one Pokemon, but you get all the nutrients you need, period. I can't imagine a Bulbasaur being something you crave. In the world of Pokemon, I can't imagine you going, man, I could really go for some Bulbasaur today. I would say that Bulbasaur would be very much a fit to your macros. You're trying to get healthy. Charmander would also be a lean meat, but I could already tell that Charmander would just taste better. I don't know if it's the hue of his skin. I don't know if it's because I'm a dumb man and I think that fire means spicy. Yeah, it'll have like a nice little smoky flavor to it. It'll be like beef jerky almost. He'd be like the chicken. Oh, and on some fries, bro? Some asada? Some Charmander asada fries? Ooh, that would bust. So I would say Charmander is all right, you know what? I'm gonna do Eat Daily under the guise that there might be some spice in there. Squirtle, I don't know, man. Isn't there regions on Earth that eat turtle? I feel like turtle doesn't bust. Because if turtle busted, then more people would be eating turtle. Turtle soup. It would make a good soup, but soups also take a long time to prepare. I'll put the Squirtle line right beneath the if it fits your macros. Caterpie, this is a weird one. Normally I try to keep the evolutions in the same line, but I feel like a Butterfree would taste so much different than a Caterpie would. However, I will say that the Caterpie is either going to be a pretty good will do or an Eat Daily. That is just a high chunk of protein. It almost comes ready to eat. It'll have a little bit of a crunch to it. It'll bust down a little. It seems like it would be bussin'. I feel like a Caterpie would be like a street food, you know, on a skewer, on some bread. Ooh. Metapod, on the other hand, I feel like would taste like almonds because it just feels like it would. You would have to get in there though, and they're hard as hell. Maybe boil it for a while to soften it up a little. I think there's a nice little almondy core in that Metapod right there. You just got to crack it open like clams or oysters. You just got to get in that bad boy. You know what I mean? There's going to be like some good meat in there. And now Butterfree, I don't know. This one is going to be a very hot take, right? A super duper hot take. And let me explain it to you guys. And this is something I've never confessed before in my life. Okay? And I'm going to tell you guys, and if I cry, then I cry. All right? Let me tell you guys. When I was like 6 or 7 years old, I used to live across the street from an elementary school. So my parents would let me walk home from school because it was across the street. I would just get out of school, I'd cross the street, I was home. But one time, my mom went to go get groceries, and she forgot to leave me like the key in the mailbox, and my brothers weren't home for some reason. So I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I'm locked out, and I really had to pee, and I was just super frustrated. I was sitting there, I was crying. I had my fist clenched up like the Arthur meme, sobbing a little bit. I want to go inside. I want to pee. and a butterfly landed on me. And I didn't bother to look at what it was. So I went like this, and I killed it. And I killed the butterfly. And I have felt bad about that my whole life. And because of that, this becomes the first ever Scooch hot take on this tier list. This is a moral dilemma for me, guys. I can't do it. Sorry. I cannot do it. I can't. Not after what happened before. Can't do it. That's a moral dilemma. Weedle feels like it's the same story. I don't feel like we got to talk about Weedle too much. Weedle feels like he'd be exactly like Caterpie, and KAKUNA seems like they'd be exactly like a Metapod. Spiky, there's 2 spikes. What the fuck? Oh, BEEDRILL. Oh, sorry, BEEDRILL. That's a moral dilemma. I forgot BEEDRILL. BEEDRILL's a moral dilemma because you got to save the bees. I don't care if it's Poke World or Real World. Save bees. Mans is a wasp. BEEDRILL is a wasp. Then why isn't it called Wasp Drill then? What the fuck? The PIDGEOT, Pidgeotto, they can be like another chicken because some people eat pigeon in real life and they say it's like it's gamey. It has like a earthier flavor. I wouldn't actively seek it out, but the macros would be good on it. They'll all go if it fits the macros, it fits the macros, you know? RATTATA is edible, but if it's anything like rats in real life, that shit is probably full of disease. Like, they look disease-ridden. And I'm not even saying that like to be ignorant. Okay, RATICATE seems like that'd be bussin' though. The RATICATE seems less disease-filled than the RATTATA. This one seems like it would have some meat on it. You'd be able to make an entire meal off of one. It'd be more fatty. Fatty's good for me. I like fatty. I feel like the birds are all pretty self-explanatory. It's chicken and turkey. This one would be the chicken, I think. Turkey is fantastic for macros, actually. So I can imagine that SPEAROW and his entire line is just, it would work on everything. On top of that, if you guys like a SPEAROW sausage would also, ooh, magnifique. Pikachu, now here's the difference. Because I know I said that I wouldn't bust down with this rat, but it's like Pikachu does not look riddled with disease. Pikachu looks like they would come seasoned. Yeah, I feel like a Pikachu would be like an overloaded flavor. You put it in your mouth, it tastes good, but your mouth is numbing as you eat it. Yellow means seasoned. That's why homeboy over here's up here too. Raichu, I feel like would be the same, except with a little bit of spice in it. Why is this Raichu T-posing? I don't like that. EKANS and ARBOK, pretty good, will do. They're just too convenient to not eat. SANDSHREW is one of the only Pokemon on this list that strikes me as inedible. It would be so hard to eat a SANDSHREW. I'm gonna put SANDSHREW at the bottom of if it fits your macros, because I know if you can get in there, there might be very little bit amounts of meat. Have you guys ever played Pokemon Stadium? This right here is what worries me about eating a SANDSHREW. But check this out. That just means that there is very little meat there. And the meat that's there is all tough. And that includes, what is this one? SANDSLASH? Yeah, it'd be dry, it'd be tough, be very hard to chew through. The NIDOKING and NIDOQUEEN would bust for sure, but as their smaller forms, they wouldn't. So these two would bust for sure. They would find their way in my diet for sure. On top of that, they just come loaded with meat. Look at that. You can see there's some good chops. You know what? I'm gonna scoot them up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but CLEFAIRY and CLEFABLE, that's a moral dilemma. Like, I can't. They're a little too humanoid. Maybe it's my favoritism. Maybe it's the fact that they look like Kirby and Kirby's my favorite entity ever. But they look, this, it just, I can't. I cannot. I cannot willfully eat these guys. I would rather starve to death. But they are simply too cute. I can't eat them. They would be the bacon of this world, though. Ooh, can't do this either. These two are like, you can't do it. They'd be too gamey. They'd be edible, but it's like they're too gamey. So maybe the Ninetales gets busted down on because it'll come cooked and there's a lot to eat there. Flame fire type, bro, it's the same shit. Grow up, children. He said flame instead of fire. Grow up. Jigglypuff? Can't do it either, man. I can't. I just can't with them. I could see myself eating all of these if push came to shove, and I wouldn't necessarily feel like I'm going to hell. The second I'm eating one of these four, I'm going to hell. Straight to hell. WIGGLYTUFF does look bussin'. Does. The moral dilemma's too strong, but WIGGLYTUFF would be good. WIGGLYTUFF would be like the Wagyu. All the bats, they're inedible. Bats are just fucking rabies. On top of that, this guy right here, he is more mouth than he is anything else. You're not gonna get any meat off of that. ODDISH and Vileplume and that entire line, they're the salad of this world. Because I feel like they basically encapsulate the same thing as the Bulbasaur. Depending on what kind of mushroom it is, you can get poisoned, you can trip the fuck out, or you can just die. It is a raffle what happens when you eat this one. Paris is a giant lice, but Paris is the mushrooms that are on the back of the lice. And since the mushroom is taking over the Paris's body, why the fuck would you ingest that? Paris is short for parasite. I don't trust it. Don't eat that. VENONAT just sounds like he'd be like an allergy nightmare to even eat. And he's probably inedible. DIGLETT seems like they're just sausages ready to go. They're just ground sausages. But what happens when you pull it out? They never showed what's down there, right? They're moles. I feel like Digletts would be an essential part of like any, and I mean any diet. Diglett goes all the way at the top. Search for Diglett body. I'm not gonna get NSFW'd and banned. Let's not eat Meowth. It's not just because it's a cat, but it's because Meowth is one of the only Pokemon who has achieved a level of sentience enough to speak English. Even though every Pokemon can understand English, it is when they talk it back that things get crazy. Once Meowth evolves, fair game, baby. Gamey as hell. Persian? Let's go. I'll bust down on that. Psyduck. Man, I love Psyduck. I do. I love Psyduck. Little fucking cutie. But Duck is so good. Top of that, he is just so full of meat. No, I think Psyduck might be #1, actually. You can already tell he busts. Like, you can't even argue it. Crispy Psyduck, oh my god. Golduck would be a lot leaner, definitely a lot less delicious, but still pretty good will do. Mankey? Is this Mankey? No thank you on Mankey. I've never eaten monkey. I don't know if people eat monkey. I don't think you're supposed to eat monkey. Just don't eat it. Arcanine is all hair, right? They're not actually heckin' big Borfers. They'd be tough. They're almost too dog-like. People eat doggos though. I don't. If I had to eat a wolf, I couldn't eat a golden retriever. These are the golden retrievers. These guys are the first wild card. Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, and whatever the other poly is, polyamorous, they're wild cardy. I can't tell what they taste like. I'm gonna put them next to the Squirtles because maybe they'd be good in a soup, but besides that, I feel like they'd just be soggy. Abracadabra, don't eat them. If anything, eat with them. They bring the spoons. They want to eat too. I didn't even know they get more spoons, but this guy right here, I don't know what his name is. He's fucking showing off. Like, just chill all the way out. Machamp, Machoke, and all them, these are moral dilemma as well. They're too human-y. They're just one of the guys. These are like roommates. And don't eat your roommates. Come on. Yeah, I would work out with these guys. I wouldn't eat them, though. I couldn't. I physically could not. Weeping Bell, Bellsprout, and whatever the other one's called, the Bell family, they're just another salad. They're just delicious. They'd go, you know, they'd be like a broccoli. On top of that, you know that they're like fresh. They're fresh tasting. Tentacruel and Tentacool, these two I originally would be terrified of, but they seem like they would be calamari. And calamari is just so good. That's not just a pretty good will do. That's like a eat every day type beat. The calamari's good. The whole Geo family, I would eat them if I could, but they're definitely not edible. These guys are the most like, oh, that's very clearly a rock. There's no Pokemon that looks more like a rock than these guys. You probably couldn't eat one of them if you tried. Now, this is going to be a weird, almost controversial take. Ponyta is spicy horse. When I was in Japan, I tried horse sashimi. It wasn't bad. On top of that, it'll be spicy horse. Again, don't forget that flame type just comes spicy. I don't make the rule. Slowpoke, let's be honest, Slowpoke will be fucking bussin'. Like super bussin'. So I feel like the Slowpoke just wins out. I feel like a Slowpoke, you could like have a million different meals and not get tired of it. Magnemite 100% is inedible. Yeah, the Magnet family, you just cannot eat them. You should not eat them. Farfetch'd goes up there. Farfetch'd will unfortunately beat out Psyduck just because it comes with the leak. This one just hands down comes with not just seasoning, but with the side. So Farfetch'd just goes up there. I can't imagine ostrich tasting good, but also it'd be like a gamey, like big chunky piece of meat. Yeah. Are seals edible? I feel like there are certain water types that I just wouldn't want to eat. Very fatty, but also like very watery. What is the seal's name? It has seal in the name, doesn't it? It is just seal, right? It is seal. Okay, yeah, all right. Come over here. Muck, you should not eat that. You should not eat muck. Do not eat muck. Shelder and cloister, they go right beneath the duck because you got to put in some work to eat them, but they'd be good. These guys would bust down. Ghastly, all of the ghost type, I don't mean to cheat you guys out here, but I do not think that they are edible. You're gonna have to get this checked by like a scientist. Onyx goes right next to the Geodudes. It's just a giant rock snake. Doesn't seem edible. This is another one of the Pokemon that hypnotizes you. Is it just me or does Drowsy seem more edible? He does, right? Like you could bust down on some Drowsy. I'll put Drowsy in macros. This goes without saying, but crab is crab. It's a crab. Eat the crab. Everyone eats crab. Everyone loves crab. Crab is good. Voltorb and Electrode. I feel like it would be like eating a dodgeball. Eat them raw then? I don't think they would like that either. Execute almost goes above the Psyduck. This is just eggs, bro. And not just eggs. They're like 6 eggs. Make an omelet out of these guys. You know, I would bust down on those guys. Cubone, man, it's weird because Cubone strikes me as moral dilemma, but also Cubone looks tasty. Too sad, agreed. If Cubone didn't have the sad backstory, then I would bust down on some Cubone. Hitmonlee, no thank you. Something about just eating a martial artist just sounds wrong. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, no thank you. Now Lickitung, I'm gonna say a hot take here and you're all gonna have to agree with me. Beef tongue is like the best thing ever. Beef tongue busts the fuck down. And this is a big pork-like creature with that beef tongue. Like Lickitung is like up there. It is just basically a big fatty piece of meat with extra beef tongue. I would bust down on a Lickitung. Rhyhorn looks inedible, like way too stony. They look too rockish. It doesn't seem like you could bust down on them, even if you tried. Don't care what anyone says. The weird one about Chansey is the egg itself would be so good. I can't eat it. I can't eat the Chansey. I can't. Oh, but she gives you the egg. So under the guise that she's just handing out eggs, then yes. But eating her, no. She does look meaty. This one kind of sucks because there's a baby there too. So I think because the baby is actively there with Kangaskhan, you don't eat the Kangaskhan. If the baby wasn't there, then fine, but the baby's there, so you can't. Tangela seems like it'll just be calamari. It's vines. If those are made out of grass, even then, yeah, it would just be vegan spaghetti. So it goes down a tier if that's all like grass, but it still goes in the pretty good will do. I don't think that you're supposed to eat seahorses. I don't think that seahorses are supposed to taste good. Doesn't even look like it'd be good. Goldeen is just a goldfish. So Goldeen is probably a don't eat because you're not supposed to eat goldfish. But when Goldeen evolves, you could fuck down on. Seaking would be like the tilapia of the Pokemon world. Seaking, delicious, magnifique, get some rice with it. Ooh, ooh, that'd be bussin'. Staryu, no thank you. That's a don't eat. It's not even a moral dilemma. I just don't think you could eat them. They just don't look edible. Mr. Mime is definitely a moral dilemma. Way too humanoid. Can't eat Mr. Mime. If Mr. Mime can somehow mime you a hot dog, that'd be sick, but can't eat Mr. Mime. Same with Jinx. Can't eat Jinx. They're too humanoid. That's crossing the line of like, this is cannibalism. Don't think I can get that done. Scyther is just a big grasshopper. Grasshoppers, last I checked, are good. So let's put this in the pretty good will do. I haven't had them, but I heard they're good. So maybe bug good, actually. Electabuzz, under the same guise as Pikachu, it would be like a fattier Pikachu, basically pre-seasoned already. So I would bust down on some Electabuzz. Magmar just looks like it'd be like a don't consume type meat. No, thank you. It's a fire duck. It doesn't even look like a duck. It looks like a dude with a bunch of tumors. If it's a duck, then maybe. All right, then I'll give it to chat. This, no thank you. I don't think I'd eat this weird beetle. It looks too not full of nutrients and it looks too hard as well. It just doesn't look edible. I don't think I'd be able to eat a pincer like that. On top of that, his mouth placement just, ugh. Ugh. Taurus, without a shadow of a doubt, would be good meat. There'd probably be more meat in the Taurus than anything else. I don't think I've ever had buffalo in my life, but I've had buffalo sauce. And if Taurus tastes anything like that, magnifique. Magikarp is big and fatty and meaty, I mean. Magikarp goes straight into eat daily. And I think that I would eat fish more than I would eat crab, so I'll put him above the crab. Ceviche. Yeah, Magikarp would make some bus in ceviche, I think. 100%. Now, Gyarados? How would that go? I feel like when you look at the bone structure, there'd be way too much spines in it. It would be a feast. And if you could prepare it correctly, then yeah. Wouldn't put it in eat daily, but I would put it in pretty good will do. Lapras is the one that was endangered, wasn't it? So just, you know, for the sake of endangerment, don't eat them. Ditto, you can't eat Ditto as Ditto. And on top of that, when Ditto transforms into something else, they don't necessarily become them, right? They just look like them. So just don't eat the Ditto. He's just a little slop. Eevee, why do and I'm gonna hate saying this. I'm gonna hate saying it. But why does it look like Eevee would bust? But it would be a moral dilemma. But when it starts turning into the Eons, though, Vaporeon, that's all the way at the bottom of if it fits your macros. Vaporeon just seems like it wouldn't taste good. I feel like all of them, I could very much say the same thing. The electric one seems like it would be tastier because it would have that Szechuan flavor that all electric types come with, but still not worth the eating. And then the fire one would taste pretty fucking good. Let's be honest, the fire one climbs up this list pretty high. I don't think you can eat Porygon. I feel like you'd get it's not even if you'd get sick. I just don't think you could put it down. I feel like it'd be like eating origami. It's probably inedible. Don't try to eat Porygon. Ammonite, if you guys have ever eaten escargot, it's very good. It's very, very, very good. And Ammonite, as cute as it is, would just be escargot. It would just taste great. So I would bust down on some Ammonite. Horseshoe crab, fossil like rock. He looks rocky, so I'm gonna put him next to all the rocks. Don't eat Kabuto because it's just gonna be all rocky and barely any meat on it. So no thank you. No thank you. This is Aerodactyl. I have never ever wanted to try pterodactyl because I feel like it'd be a lot like trying a bat. It wouldn't be great. Man, what gets me about Snorlax is it would just be the fattiest meat ever. But Snorlax would go so well in like ramen. He would just be like the Chow Shu of this world. Like he would be so good. He's a feast for the family, for the extended family, for the village. You could bust down on Snorlax forever. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. I feel like they're more endangered than anything else. Articuno probably not going to eat. Water bird. Bird is already gamey, but then this one's also going to be soggy. So maybe if it fits your macros, right? Zapdos seems a little bit more tasty, even though you got to shave it down a lot more because it has that weird spiky fur just because it's so electrically charged. But Zapdos goes up in the pretty good will do. However, Moltres, I would fuck down on some Moltres, bro. Spicy bird, it would be like getting buffalo wings just fresh off the bat. Moltres goes way up there. It's like, yeah, you just get fried chicken off the bat. If I'm being honest, out of all of these, I would probably put Moltres at the top just because I love spicy chicken that much. Dragonite, Dragonair, and the other one, these guys are all delicious. I'm going to just use Dragonite here because he's the most fatty. I'd bust down on some Dragonite. I would 100% bust down on some Dragonite. I think everyone and their mother would bust down on some Dragonite, and it's not weird for me to say that. Mew? I feel like that's just a moral dilemma. He's too much of a kid. I wouldn't bust down on Mew. Mewtwo, I wouldn't bust down on Mewtwo either. That's kind of anticlimactic, but Mewtwo is like a whole ass guy. You know, I can't eat Mewtwo, bro. That's a bro. I could eat with Mewtwo, but I can't eat Mewtwo. I can't. And I think that's it. I think we got one of every single Pokemon. We got one of every single family of Pokemon. All right, well, there you have it. Gamers, we did it. Pretty big tier list. Wasn't expecting this tier list to go on this long, but it did. Which Pokemon are the most edible in the Pokemon world? Gen 2 when? I don't know. Let's see how this does first. But if you want to see Gen 2, or if you ever want to see more content like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me in the comment section what kind of tier lists you want to see next, especially if it's about eating Pokemon. If there is enough requests for it in the comment section, I will do Gen 2 of which Pokemon are the most delicious, because let's be honest, it's a question that we've all had. So subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.